Lads, we're here for episode number 26 of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship. This is Austria, and we've qualified on pole position. I can't believe we managed to snatch pole in the end. We won it by 7/10 in the end, setting at 108.7, I believe. Absolutely smashing the field in the dry. However, we've got a wet race on our hands, starting on intermediates, pitting 2 times, and there's always the possibility for the rain to get even heavier. So here we are, just going through our setup, a fairly normal one here, but hopefully we don't get affected by the tyre wear or the rain too much. So without further ado, let's go to the race. Alright, so here we are on the grid of Austria. Hopefully we can get off to a good start. It's going to be very tricky to get this thing off the line in the wet, but 5 red lights and away we go here in Austria, shifting straight up into second gear, trying to minimize that wheel spin. It hasn't worked though, and the 2 Mercedes cars are going to mug me now coming into turn 1. We go around the outside of Hamilton and Rosberg. Looks like Hamilton has come off worse for wear. He's dropped off by a number of positions so far, but it looks like we got off to a really good start here into turn 1, and it looks like we have about a 2 or 3 second lead at least so far. So we'll be looking to pretty much extend this lead as much as we can for the rest of this race. Coming to the end of the first lap now, you can see we've maintained that margin of about 2 or 3 seconds over Rosberg at the moment. I believe Vettel is in third at the moment, but I believe we have a team radio. Alright, so I'm not too sure if you heard that because the engine was kind of drowning out the engineer's voice there, but he did say we've got a chance of heavy rain in 15 minutes time. So this is going to throw a curveball here for us in this Grand Prix. I feel like at the moment in intermediate conditions we're sort of maintaining the gap between the leaders, but if it changes to wets, the wet conditions, I'm not too sure we'd be able to maintain our pace as we get almost spun off an auto spin curve there on the exit of the final corner. Alonso has now got himself up in a second, and now he's taking the lead of the Grand Prix now coming into turn 1, and he's going to try and hold around the outside, but we just hang in there for the moment. Rosberg is in third, and he's almost going to make it 3 wide. Is he? No, maybe. Yes, he will, coming into the second corner, but no, he tucks back into the slipstream of Alonso, and we're going to try and hold it up the inside once again. It's not going to do us a world of good in terms of traction, but Alonso has been mugged off by Rosberg there, and we get back first place for now. Vettel somehow has moved up into second place as we drop to 21 runners in the Grand Prix. Just then somebody either retired or crashed, but either way, getting poor traction off of that high-speed corner, mid-speed corner I guess. But now we're coming into the pits actually, because I just felt like the balance of power, or balance of grip really, has just gone out the window, and I believe the AI have felt the same way. Possibly. No, it's actually their recommended pit stop window, so they're coming in for a new set of tyres. Whether they go into the intermediates or not, or wets, is probably going to be a race deciding factor here. And no, we've been held in the pits there, so that's a slow pit stop as well. 4.9 seconds, we dropped a place to Raikkonen and Vettel. Crucially, Vettel is going to emerge 3 or 4 seconds at least up the road. But unfortunately, if we can't find any temperature in the tyres, then the leaders are going to get away here now, so it's going to be very tough to chase them down. But yeah, as I said before, I don't know whether they've switched on to intermediates or wets yet, but cutting on to the end of 13, we can see Hulkenberg is right behind us. I believe he stopped as well. However, he's on intermediate tyres, so what I believe has happened here, guys, is the majority of the field have come in for their pit stop, and they put on a set of intermediate tyres. So this could potentially win us the race here. We can see Hulkenberg is going up our inside into turn 1 now, but some of the leaders are now making another stop. No, that's Jensen Button and a few others who didn't make their stop on the previous lap. So I wonder if those guys put on a set of intermediate tyres. I just need to have a look at the race director here, because I really need to see what the state of play is in the race. And look at that. We're the only one in the field to put on a set of wets, except for Max Chilton. So Chilton is already in 11th place. He's on a set of wet tyres. He's already taken his pit stop, so he's going to gain a pit stops lead over all the cars around him, and he could potentially be in the points in just a few laps time. But now lap 14, we can see the leaders are now responding to the conditions. They're now putting on their wet tyres, and you can see that the gap to Vettel is about 9 or 10 seconds, 9.6 seconds there. So that's the gap we're playing with at the moment. It feels like right now that we're not as quick as the leaders at the moment in wet conditions. So what I've got to do now is just grind out the laps, try not to make any mistakes, and just try and put out the best lap times I can at the moment. On the very next lap, Sebastian Vettel has caught us by 2 seconds. So at this rate, Vettel is catching us by 2 seconds a lap, and on lap 20, he's already caught up to us. So the pace difference between us and the AI in full wet conditions is absolutely ridiculous, and it all comes down to the rear traction coming out of the traction zones. It's absolutely ridiculous how much time the AI gains. So you'd have to say at this stage we're probably going to lose the lead here as we get a poor run through that corner, and now we're going to get a bit of wheel spin here. I'll tell you what, guys, driving this at the time, I couldn't get on full throttle until I got into 5th gear, and that was absolutely killing me on most of these straights here. But we're going to try and go back up the inside of Vettel here. No, I sort of misjudged my braking point there, but Vettel, he loses the back end there and sort of sidesteps us there and almost gives us the lead back. We didn't make contact. I'll tell you why we didn't make contact, because of the realistic damage. If I would have touched him at all, my front left end plate would have just gone flying off. It's that sensitive is the realistic damage. But lap 21, we've still somehow got the lead, but that's only going to be temporary. As we can see, is that Kimi Räikkönen now taking the lead. We're getting side by side here, and Vettel wants to get in on the act as well. But we're going to try and hold it up the inside, and we maintain the lead only just for now. I honestly don't know how much longer we can maintain the lead for now. The tyres are starting to go off as Räikkönen moves over on us there on the straight, putting it down into lane through the traction zones. This is my only defense in terms of minimizing that wheel spin. I'm shifting up early in the gears as well, but there's just nothing I can do at the moment. Just F1 2014 being on a wheel with no traction control. It's almost impossible to defend from AI who do have traction control. And look at that Vettel, he just blows right past me in the traction zone. Absolutely ridiculous. And now somehow, Jenson Button, our teammate, has got up into 3rd place. So I've got some conflicting issues here. Should I let Jenson go past me, because he is much faster? Let him try and take the lead from Vettel and give us a better chance of getting better constructors points? Or do I sway the other way and just try and do the best result I can for myself? It's a very conflicting situation I'm in at the moment. You can see the tyre wear is, I don't know, I think that the tyres have gone through about halfway through their essential or useful life, so I think I'll come in for a set of new wets at the end of this lap now, so I'll essentially have better tyres at the end of the race and potentially catch the AI at the back end of the race, if that makes sense. So there's no chance of the conditions improving at this stage. At least my engineer hasn't said anything about that, so thought I'd come in for a new set of tyres. And actually, my recommended stop is on lap 24, so potentially everyone else is going to come in for another stop as well, and we've potentially undercut them. I'm not too sure, but the pit stop is fairly fine there, 3.7 seconds. But look at that, Max Chilton, we talked about him before, playing a really good strategy card early on in the first stint. He's now up in a P6 or P5 now, so hopefully for Max and for Marussia, he can maintain that place for the rest of the race. It's going to be awfully tough, but because there's no DRS in wet conditions, it's actually going to help the Marussia driver in maintaining his position. It's also going to help me as well, because he's holding up Massa an absolute treat here as he goes so slowly into the 90 degree right-hander. That was absolutely ridiculous. But now, unfortunately, Massa has got past Chilton now, and he's going very slow as he's sort of getting caught behind Massa, but we go up the inside into the final corner there. So we've dispatched Chilton there. He's now up into P7. But hopefully, for his sake, he can get some decent points in this race. Lap 25, we can see the leaders are now coming in for a new set of tyres. We talked about this before. We thought that the AI might be coming in for another stop, and it looks like they might be doing that. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see if we can jump them. But no, they're actually coming out of the pits now. That 2-lap undercut that we got over the field really didn't help us at all. It actually helped the AI in actual fact, because it gave them clean air, and then they were able to lap much faster than what I could on fresh tyres. It just shows how much faster the AI are in the wet. But now, coming to the end of the race now, we can see Rosberg has come out of nowhere almost, and he's trying to overtake us coming into this 90-degree right-hander, but we just maintained 5th place for now by braking later around the outside. And Rosberg trying to have a go again into the penultimate corner. Those are the 2 zones where the AI have their best chance, I must say. But once again, coming out of this crucial traction zone on the back straight, and Rosberg has just blown past us. We're going to try and put it up into fast once we reach 5th gear, because we can't actually get it out of lean before then, because the wheel spin is just that bad. But we go up the inside once again of Rosberg. He sort of sees us coming and leaves us a bit of room, but we lose a bit of time on the exit, and Rosberg has got us once again. But he's going to have a compromise run through this high-speed left-hander, and we take him back. Do we just around the outside? It's a very close battle at the moment, losing the back end because the conditions and the tyres are starting to go off now. So it's crucial that we maintain traction, but no, once again a massive tank slapper coming into the penultimate corner now, and it looks like Rosberg has got that position, and now I think he's probably going to stretch away now that he has that track position, and we'll put it up into fast once again just to stay with him, but nah, he's got that 4 or 5 car length lead over us, and that's all that he needed. He stretched out by about 20 seconds after that. In terms of this race though, Sebastian Vettel has won. Us though, even though we had a bit of a disaster, we've come home and finished 6th. So there we go, lads. The Austrian Grand Prix has been done and won by Sebastian Vettel. 25 points to him in his championship campaign. Jenson Button coming home in 2nd, so that's a very crucial 18 points for the constructors. We came home in 6th. We just didn't have the pace today, plain and simple. So we're going to have to work on that in terms of the future races in wet conditions. But Max Chilton coming home to finish 11th. Another notable mention goes to Lewis Hamilton, finishing 15th place and 1 minute and 18 seconds off the lead of the race. Something must have gone on with him, or he must have had a ginormous amount of pit stops, because that is just unheard of for a Mercedes to finish that far down and to still be in the race and not retire. That's really weird. Yes, he has. He's made 5 pit stops in this race, so that's why he lost so many positions in the race. He didn't get off to the best of starts either, so that's very, very interesting. And now in the driver's standings, we've extended the lead to 11 points over Lewis. Vettel buys himself into the championship hunt as well. He's just 12 points behind, and Kimi, out of nowhere, is in 13th place. He's in 4th place with 13 points, the difference to us. So, very close championship from 2nd to like 5th in the drivers. In the constructors, McLaren, thanks to Jenson Button, has reeled us in very much closer to Mercedes in this Constructors' Championship as well. So that's going to do it for today, the Austrian Grand Prix. Overall, probably not the best result for us personally, but in terms of the Team's Championship, I'm pretty happy with that. So the next race is going to be Silverstone, and I'm thinking about possibly doing a 100% race. So if you want to see that, then let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll probably get on to doing that as well. So that's going to do it for today. Until my next video, guys, I'll see you next time.